students, here to tell you about different types of lines. So kind of to move on from what we talked about yesterday. Yesterday we talked about what a point is, what a line is, a ray, and a line segment. Now today we're going to talk about different types of lines. Now before we learned is that a line has arrows on both sides, and that means a line continues on and on and on. We're just looking at a part of the line. So the first lines we're going to talk about are called parallel lines. I'm going to show you a trick on how I remember these. So parallel lines are two lines that do not cross each other at any point. So these two lines, this is line AB and line WX, no matter how far I continue to draw these on and go and continue to draw, they're never going to cross each other. How I remember what parallel is I look at the word parallel. If you look at the word parallel, parallel has two L's in it. Now think about those two L's. Those are two lines. And the L and this L, if I continue to draw them, no matter how big I ended up drawing those L's and continue those on, those wouldn't cross. So I know that they're parallel. Now I tried to think of something that I could think of at my house that had parallel lines. And one of the things I could think of was the rungs in my chair. So I'm going to actually put this down for a second, and I'm going to have you look at this chair. This chair has rungs in it. And these run up and down. Now, no matter how far this rung went up, if I continue to draw a line straight up, and I continue to draw a line straight up, and a line straight up, those would never cross. So those would be considered parallel lines. You might be able to see that in your windows. You can also think about it on your fence, if you have a fence in your yard. And if you have wood that makes up your fence, and think about the space between them. If you drew a line up, those would never cross. Now, going back to this and our parallel lines. So remember, parallel lines never cross each other. Now, if I wanted to write this, I'm just going to kind of show you. I would write line AB. Remember how we did that yesterday? We ended up writing the points on the line and then the line symbol above. And this is line WX. Now, if I wanted to say these are parallel, the symbol for writing parallel lines is two parallel lines. And if I was going to read this out loud, I would say line AB is parallel to line WX. Next are intersecting lines. Intersecting lines are just lines that cross each other. These I had crossed in the middle, but the definition is just ones that cross each other. And I have, again, the same lines that I used before, line AB and line WX. So if I was going to write this, I would do the same thing. I would say first I'm dealing with line AB and line WX. Now in the middle, there's no symbol for intersecting. So if I was going to write what that is, I would just write the word intersects. So I would just write intersects. So if I was going to read that out loud, it would say line AB intersects with line WX. And the last thing are perpendicular lines. I'm kind of introducing this early. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect, but it's something special about them. To be a perpendicular lines, they have to be two lines that intersect that make a 90-degree angle. And I know you can put your fingers in your ears if you don't understand this right now, and that's fine. But right here, this forms a 90-degree angle, and that's what we're getting to in our next lessons. But perpendicular lines are lines that intersect, but when they intersect, they make a 90-degree angle. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. If you were going to write the symbol for perpendicular lines, I would do the same thing. I would say line AB, and then on this side, I would put together line WX. And the line and the symbol for intersects is a line straight down and a line across the bottom that actually forms that 90-degree angle. So what I really want you to focus in today is parallel lines are two lines that never end up crossing, and intersecting lines are lines that end up crossing each other at some point. And I will talk to you tomorrow.